Today I'm going to talk about a 3-word instructions that can change your whole life and lead to complete enlightenment. What are the 3 words? Try your best. So many times, the only thing we have to do is try our best. If we do that in our practice of meditation, we will overcome all doubts and attain certainty in our practice. The certainty arises just from the fact that we are trying our best. Oftentimes, we say, I can't meditate, or I can't understand Buddhist philosophy, so I don't study, or my back hurts, my legs hurt, I don't have time, I have to take care of my parents, I'm too tired after work. And generally, a lot of reasons why we can't practice, or we think we can. But the main one is generally, I just don't know how. I don't know how to practice. So therefore, I won't practice. But when you really look into it, nobody knows how to practice when they begin. Everybody thinks they don't. But that's a poor excuse, because the nature of the mind is meditation. Its very nature is to turn inward and develop self-understanding, understand itself, look into itself, try and figure itself out, try and figure how to figure itself out, how to unravel all the knots and kinks in one's mind and so forth. The nature of the mind is to do that. But we get caught up in excuse making because we're intimidated by tackling our own mind, looking into our own mind. The biggest obstacle is just the thought that I don't know how. So those 4 words, I don't know how, can be overcome by practicing 3 words, try your best. So try your best to know how to practice. So one of the problems with this is that time is always an issue. Place is often an issue. So I don't have time is one, and I don't have a place. Now, a time, when you consider the matter, to have the time to practice is something that we do have, unless we're really super advanced practitioners. It's unlikely that we're going to need more than an hour or 2 hours a day to practice. And many people, 15 or 20 minutes is all that they're likely to be able to do in any one session. So to say that I don't have time, then we have to ask ourselves, well, why not? Or there's 24 hours in a day, and where does that extra 20 minutes get in the way of anything? Where does even an hour get in the way of anything? Or 2 hours? If we aren't trying will use time as an excuse. But if we really try our best, we won't use time as an excuse. We won't use location as an excuse. If we live in a busy household, we don't have a place, there's always a park, and there's always a bench somewhere where we can sit and meditate. A seashore, a lakeside, a forest, even in one's own car. And I've meditated in my cars many, probably hundreds of hours over the years. So another 2 words are very helpful. Try your best is the best teaching for a beginner or advanced person. That's just 3 words. No excuses is another very good teaching. No excuses. Know when you're just kind of like not thinking your practice through, that you're just making excuses. If that's the case, say, why am I making excuses? And then when you really examine it, you'll think, well, I really don't like practicing. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I'd rather go have a cup of coffee or call a friend, look at my phone, or do something that, absorbs my mind, that engages my mind. It makes me feel entertained, absorbed, happy, engaged in a conversation or something like that. And I don't like to meditate. That's usually at the bottom of all excuses, like no time or no place. But if we really look at it and we think, well, is that reasonable? To think that way. Because if we really don't like meditation, and that's a reason we don't meditate, we have to ask ourselves, well, have I ever meditated? Well, I've tried, or I sit sometimes, and, it just doesn't work for me. But it doesn't mean it doesn't work for you. It means that actually what's happening is you're not patient enough for it to work. It takes time. But if you give it that time, over a period of a few months and then a year, 2 years, you'll find that actually sitting in meditation is so engaging, absorbs the mind so completely that nothing can even match it. You'll want to meditate, you'll look forward to it, because just absorbing the mind into itself is so much more interesting than anything else that we can do. Talking to a friend, looking at our phone, checking the news, watching a YouTube video. All of these are like very, very something you can do after, a meditation where you really engage your mind and you deeply, and you feel an experience and fulfillment that comes from within. Nothing can match that. Once you find that, then when you watch a YouTube video or 2, or you call a friend, or you look at your phone, check the news and so forth, these will always be secondary practices rather than main practices, something that you really look forward to do. You want to do. You get off work and you want to look at your phone or look at a video or play a game or something. You'll actually want to sit and meditate, because you find your mind itself is the most interesting, best show on the whole planet. And then you can't meditate all the time deeply like that. So when you're not, you do these, kind of frivolous activities, but they're not the main event in your life. So it's a matter of priorities. From the start, we have to give ourselves the priority, like finding a place of bearing inside our own mind, in our heart, in our thinking, in our consciousness, in our awareness, in our knowledge, intelligence. how to really realize fulfillment that's not externally dependent. So once we find that, then it's okay to watch a video, look at the phone, do a few things. But when that's the main event, then that's a red flag that we're really not connecting with ourselves, and we never will, as long as that's the main event in our lives. So, like most teachers and people that really know what they're doing, they will not advise like long time. They will say, practice a little bit every day and let it grow on you, because a little bit every day over an extended period of time is a lot better than meditating at a session, like a Goenka session or something for 10 days, and straining your body, your mind, and then as soon as it's over, you're back to your same self. Fasting is kind of like that. People think, oh, I'll do a long fast, I'll fast 10 days, I'll get really healthy, or 7 days or 3 days, and then clean my body out. But then what happens is all your starvation gets you is you just really want to go back to eating more than ever, so it's not even healthy. So meditation is the same way. Too much is also no good. You have to let it grow and on you. As the practice grows on you and you begin to like it, you add time. But as long as it's a discipline and it's a little bit difficult, do a little bit, but do it every day. Rain or shine, or not feeling good, depressed, anxious, or whatever. Do a little bit every day, consistently. That will work. And don't worry about if you're doing it right or not. Because if you're doing it incorrectly, that's probably right, because you can't expect to do it correctly. Even people that meditate a long time are always noticing that they're even the same mantra, the same visualization gets more and more subtle and sublime, and it changes all the time. So don't expect it. Don't have any expectations about what the practice is right or whether it's wrong. But really try your best within the context of the guidelines you establish for yourself, whether it's a half hour a day, an hour a day, or whatever, but make sure it's every day. And then let that give it time to work and wait for the shift to come where it really seems like that's what you really want to be doing. And let that happen for you. And in that way, you really find that everything gets more in proportion. You're not chasing after anything. You're letting things come to you, and you feel the joy of being independent of all sorts of sources of entertainment or whatnot. You have those things, but that's not really what's going on in your life. You develop a personal practice and you begin to really, really enjoy it deep down in your heart.